What's up guys, Nick here from Nick's Reptile World, and today I kind of want to talk to you guys about a couple of things that I believe every reptile keeper and breeder should know. So first things first, the most important thing you should know as a reptile keeper is what to expect. A lot of times people will get stuff like iguanas, tegus, things like bearded dragons, and not expect to actually have to pay a lot of money to keep these animals alive, to keep them thriving, and to keep them healthy. Now, a lot of people will get the animal when they're small and they can afford it, but once your iguana or your tegu goes from literally like 8 inches to a couple of feet, then it's a completely different story. Same with the lighting as well, because you're gonna have to pay for the lighting. The lighting's gonna have to increase to cover more area, and I'm gonna tell you, lighting is not cheap, especially if you live in New England, which I do. Ha! Same with enclosures. Like, even enclosures are wicked expensive. Like, I'm gonna have to upgrade my iguana eventually because he's almost getting too big for a 4 foot wide, 6 foot high, and 2 foot deep enclosure. Well, actually, I think it's 3.5. It's a strange measurement. He's already starting to outgrow that, and honestly, that enclosure alone was $3,500. So, you know, you have to take into consideration these things, and that's to provide the best health and best mentality for these animals as possible, keeping them as close to nature as you can, keeping them safe, comfortable, and it costs a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Another thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about people getting large amounts of reptiles. So, with reptiles and even amphibians, unlike most other animals, are relatively easy to care for, and this like sounds bad, but are able to handle neglect to a certain degree. Now, people will get a male and a female crested gecko, for instance. I'm not saying this is my situation, but I'm saying, you know, some certain people can't really handle this, but some people will get a pair of crested geckos because they had a crested gecko pet before, and they're like, hey, you know, I really want to just like breed these guys. So they will allow their geckos to breed, and then what they will end up with is they'll end up with like, I don't know, like five or six clutches of eggs, clutches of babies. So, you know, you're talking like 10 to 12 babies that you're gonna have to deal with, and each of those babies is gonna have to have their own bin or a large enough bin for them to share with another. This is going to drain you. I'm not talking like money wise, I'm not talking like anything like that. I'm talking like the amount of time that it takes for me alone. So I have probably close to 30 gecko babies at this point, and for me to go through and do all their food, which I do every day or every other day, that takes me all in all about 2 hours to go through to make sure that I clean up all the paper towels when they, you know, to knock their food over, when they poop, when they pee, mist their enclosures, all that, everything. It is a very time-consuming task, and it's almost to a degree like a job, and it is, for me it is. Not just because I have all these geckos, but I have other lizards as well. I have different snake species, like I got my female Bredli right here. She's a hypo, she's very beautiful, I love her. Shout out to Steven Katz. Anyways, it's having a large collection of reptiles is like, it's cool and all, and you know, it piques your fancy. However, you have to keep in mind that it is a lot of work, and it's not easy. And that's a lot of, like, it's mainly the biggest thing that people seriously overlook when they start getting into reptiles or keeping large collections or even breeding. They always end up at this crossroad, and usually it'll lead to one of two things. Either people will completely get out of the hobby because they don't have the time, they can't put in the effort, you know, whatever. Or you'll end up with people who have to take breaks from like social media, from, you know, different things, from social life in general, just so that they can focus on their own mental health. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like having a lot of animals is pretty draining. It can burn you out at times. It is what it is. I mean, I'm sure there's people that do not get burned out whatsoever, but I mean, hey man, to each their own. One kind of like last thing that I really want to talk about real quick is the fact that as a reptile breeder, if you want to make money, you have to know people. It all comes down to networking, communicating, getting to know people, getting to understand businesses, and kind of everything under the sun. You know what I mean? It's a legitimate business, you know. At Nick's Reptile World is an LLC in the state of Maine, and I put a lot of hard work into it. However, I do not make a large profit. That is very important for everyone to understand. I do not make enough money to really come out on top, like to come out with extra profits. This is literally what I do with my animals, all the breeding I do, all the sales, the educational stuff, all of that is entirely feeding back into my obsession with animals. And how I'm able to keep and care for the amount of animals that I do have. Now, if I didn't have an external source of income, which I do, I'm not going to divulge that information, don't want to talk about it. Anyways, if I did not have that, I would have a very hard time being able to keep the amount of animals that I have, and I would end up probably being burnt out, or I would end up getting rid of my collection, like a lot of newer reptile breeders will do. However, I've been here, in the community for I'd say about 2 years now as a reptile breeder, and honestly, as time goes on, yes, you do start to make more profit, but it's not even about the money, you know what I mean? And it really should never be. It really, honestly, with breeders even, like, it should never be about money. It should be about being able to produce amazing, beautiful animals, giving them the best life that you can, and literally being able to share the enjoyment and the fun of owning reptiles with others. That's what I'm about. That's all I care about. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to just sound like that, but it is what it is for me. I mean, I'm not here to really make money. I'm here to just support what I'm doing, caring for the animals I have, and kind of furthering my education and knowledge of animals. So, I mean, anyways, guys, that's just a couple of things that I wanted to talk to in this video. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick video, a quick update, see what's going on. I'm currently back in school again. I'm studying animal care management, doing a lot of cool things in my anatomy lab for animal anatomy and physiology. So, I mean, everything's going pretty well. However, I don't have a whole lot of time to produce as many videos as I wish I could. And that's just the nature of the beast. But anyways, guys, for those of you who follow me, thank you very much. For those of you who are subscribed, I appreciate it beyond words, and thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Nick from Nick's Reptile World. This is Sweet Pea, and we're gonna catch you guys later.